Alright, so let's talk about edge burnishing for a minute. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically your edge here. Okay, and you can feel it, it's still rough. We've got it dyed, and we've got our corners beveled off front and back. But if you take a look, you'll still see that that edge is still raw, it's still very rough. And you don't want to leave your project looking like that. Okay, you want to give it a nice, smooth, slick down feel. You want to leave it looking like that. Okay, that's very nice, it's very smooth, very slick, and it just gives your project a much better finished look. Now there's a couple of different ways to do that. Well, there's more than a couple of different ways. Like leatherwork, there's about 100 million different ways to do things. Some people will tell you that you need a bunch of special tools to do that. There's a bunch of different things that are specifically made for burnishing and for doing edges and things. There's tools made from wood. There's ones made from bone. There's ones that are made from glass. There's a whole bunch of different things out there. There's that weird disc-looking thing that I know a lot of people like to use. The way I was taught, and the way that I do things, I've never found a need for any of those tools or anything. Frankly, I kind of find it to be a waste of money. But you know, for other people, that works great. People like it. It works for them, and that's awesome. But for me, you know, the way I was taught, and the way I'm going to show you now, is a pretty effective way that it works. A lot of people also will tell you that you need to put a special kind of treatment on the edge of your leather before you start burnishing. There's a bunch of different things to do that you can put on that also. Again, that's another one of those things that I really don't think there is a need for, but some people do. The only thing, or at least the way that I was taught, there's only pretty much two things that you need to burnish an edge. And it's pretty simple. You need water. There's my water bucket. Inside my water bucket, just a piece of sheepskin. You can use a sponge or pretty much anything that has a good absorption. And you know, if you're doing leather work, you have your leather bench, water bucket is an essential tool to have. So you need that. The other thing you will need is a piece of denim. Just a ratty old piece, new piece, it doesn't matter. You got an old pair of jeans tucked away in your closet or your drawers that you don't wear anymore, that you don't use, you know, cut them up. Make some pieces out of them. Use them for your leather work. It's perfect. And that's all you need for burnishing. You know, no need for special tools or crazy stuff on your leather. So, what you want to do is you want to get your sponge or your applicator, whatever it is that you have in your water bucket, and get it wet. Okay, you just make sure you got a little. You don't want to get it soaking, just so you have just a little bit of water there. And you want to get your piece there, of course. And you just want to get water along the edges, all the way around your piece. You don't want to get it soaking, just enough so it's on there, you know. Just rub it on, go over it a couple of times maybe, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just so we get a little bit of moisture on there. See? And don't worry about getting your leather wet on the side. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to bother. It'll dry. So once you get that, if you have, now it's time for the actual burnishing. There's a couple of different ways to do that as well. If you have a small piece, you know, something like this, or I don't know, just something small, you know. One way you can do it, the way I like to do it with just little things like this, is take your piece and lean it off the edge of your bench or your workstation or whatever you have. Just lean it, you know, just lean the edge off, just right there. And take a piece of denim make, just fold it up a couple times. And it doesn't really matter. And then you basically just run your denim up and down the edges, just like this. Don't forget the tip, your corners, your ends. Very important, not to forget that. Again, don't worry about this moisture on the side, it'll dry. So long as you just concentrate on smoothing up and slicking down those edges, you'll be just fine. And there you go. That's it. Check that out. And there's your edge. Nice and smooth now. Slick. Doesn't look rough, doesn't look unfinished. Looks great. Let me just set that aside. Let your edges here dry up for a little bit. And we go on from there. Hope that helped.